Stacking generic rounds. Good evening, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Silver Dad Knows. Remember, always live with no edits. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button now, as you're gonna like what I'm about to say. So yes, folks, just to begin this evening, I am presenting right here a generic Buffalo Silver Round, and these are always favorites among silver stackers for good reason. They combine affordability, recognizability, and timeless design. Modeled after the iconic Buffalo nickel, these rounds feature the classic Native American profile on one side, and then, of course, the American buffalo on the other. Truly appealing to both new and experienced investors. I know so many investors who actually just purchased generic rounds such as this because to them, silver is silver, and of course, silver is silver ultimately. One of the biggest advantages of Buffalo rounds is their low premiums. Since they're considered generic, they don't carry the hefty markups associated with government minted coins like American Silver Eagles. This means you can acquire more silver for your money, maximizing the weight of your stack without significantly sacrificing quality. And one thing I've noticed about these generic Buffalo rounds is probably the last year they started to go up crazy, because for the most part, you could always buy them around spot price. Now, these pretty much have premiums on them, across the board. And this was never the case just until recently because, gold's going up crazy. And of course, silver is following. The other day, silver took a dip, but I was noticing the premiums just across the board going up and up and up until the recent dip. So we know they're gonna climb higher again. And yes, these Buffalo rounds are typically minted with 0.999 fine silver, making them a pure and reliable store of value. They are widely recognized and trusted, in the silver market. So that ensures ease of trade, as well as resale when the time comes to liquidate, as it always will. In uncertain economic times, silver has always been a hedge against inflation and a safe haven for wealth. Buffalo rounds make this even more accessible, offering an affordable way to diversify and build a strong financial foundation. They're not just an investment, they're a smart, tangible step toward securing your future. But lovely pieces right there. And real quick, before I continue, I want to give a quick shout out, and this is to my always loyal subscriber, Veritas Files. As best as I can be, though there is always more to do and more that could be done. A modicum of realism is necessary when you engage in prepping. You have to bite off what you can actually chew rather than trying to move forward with grandiose plans that are so expansive and dramatic that the lion's share of it isn't likely to get done before something truly breaks. It's better to set modest, achievable goals that both provide extra preparedness and give you future motivation and momentum by your being able to see and experience your small successes. Keep stacking and keep preparing. Awesome comment right there from Veritas Files. Always sharing such wisdom. Veritas Files is slightly older than me, but still a young man and really understands what's at stake, not just for our economic future, but for our families' livelihoods, long term. As we all know, folks, the financial system is rigged, and they just changed the rules again. Every time the economy shakes, those in power rewrite the playbook to protect themselves at your expense. Banks, governments, and central planners manipulate interest rates, inflation, and monetary policies to maintain control. Meanwhile, the value of your hard-earned dollar is eroding faster than ever. In an age where digital currency and financial surveillance are tightening their grip, one thing remains clear. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. That's why stacking physical silver is not just a smart move, it's a necessity, If you want to progress and you want to have generational wealth, Now is the time to start seriously stacking silver, and if you have the capital, stacking gold. Physical, of course. History that has shown that when economic crisis hits, fiat money loses its purchasing power, while real assets such as silver and gold, retain theirs, and in fact even appreciate. In 1971, Nixon took the U.S. off the gold standard, effectively unleashing unlimited money printing. Very, very bad idea, long term, and we're living, we're living in it, and we're seeing it. So that's why you fast forward to today, and we see governments bailing out banks, artificially propping up markets, and debasing currency at an unprecedented rate. Every major economic downturn has been met with the same playbook: shifting losses onto the public while the elite escape unscathed. If you're holding cash in a system that can change overnight, you are vulnerable. But if you're holding silver, you own a tangible asset that has never gone to zero. You can't go anywhere in history and see silver being worthless. All over the place you could see where the currency in Zimbabwe crashed, the currency in Germany wrecked. Just countless countries. Venezuela, where these currencies just wreck, and people suffer, people die. That's how drastic this is. The economy affects us, and it affects how we live. And if people go into this quick shift, this rapid shift into a life they're not used to, they're not going to take it kindly, and they are going to suffer, and those around them are going to suffer. The shift toward a cashless society and central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, poses an even greater threat to your financial freedom. Governments are positioning themselves to control every transaction, track every dollar, and even limit your access to funds. Imagine a world where your money expires, gets frozen due to political reasons, or can only be spent on approved purchases. This is not speculation. It's already happening in test programs globally. When rules like these get implemented, physical silver becomes not just an investment, but a tool for survival. Whenever we talk about SHTF and, hoarding enough food, having enough liquids, enough medicines, enough ammunition, and ideally a variety of firearms. You don't just want pistols, you want rifles, you want shotguns. And of course, you don't want to be sitting on a few hundred bullets, a few hundred shells. You want to be sitting on a few thousand bullets and a few thousand shells, ideally. And then it goes hand in hand with having precious metals. You're telling me you have all these precious metals at home, but no firearms to protect yourself? You're telling me you have firearms, but not precious metals? Make it make sense. Unlike stocks, bonds, or digital assets, physical silver is outside the banking system. No counterparty risk, no dependence on technology, no government interference. It's real money, recognized globally, and historically undervalued. When inflation spikes or currency collapses, silver will still buy goods and services when fiat money becomes worthless. While most people chase get-rich-quick schemes or trust a system that's failed them before, failing them in real time, smart investors are quietly stacking ounces, preparing for this inevitable shift. Silver, folks, is truly amongst the best that I invest in. I've told you folks that I do stack cryptocurrencies, which I know many of you don't like. I know many of you don't agree with that, and I respect that. But remember, I hold a good amount of precious metals. I hold a decent amount of gold, and I hold, I would say, almost an ideal amount of silver. And I'm going full force now with precious metals, folks, because they already changed the rules. And unfortunately, they'll do it again. Your wealth, your freedom, and your financial security, they're all at risk if you do not take action. Stack physical silver now before the next crisis exposes just how broken the system really is. But folks, thank you so much for joining us for another evening of Silver Dad Knows. God bless you. God bless your household. And God bless America.